everybody. Today is Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Hopefully, everybody's having a good start of the week and all that good stuff because today we are going to talk about everything that has to do with the sale, with all this speculation and talk and things that are just like popping up left and right everywhere. Everybody's right now talking, everybody's interested. There is so much excitement on the internet, and it's awesome to see how all of this is going. So, let's check out the chat. How's everybody doing? Austin, appreciate you for tuning in, for watching. You already know that. Charger Six Pack, what's up? Yes, sir. You know it. Restored the Babers. Hell yeah. And we're going to keep our wallets closed. That's how we have to do. And we're going to continue doing that. Vegeta, what's up? Appreciate you for tuning in. Let's see. Watching the Jeep vids again. All right, cool. All right, where's the Marvel? What's up? Brother, don't give me too much hope. Restore the Snyderverse. Hey, hope is all we have. Hope is all we need. And endurance is what we also need on top of that. So I'm telling y'all straight up, things are happening and, change is already taking place. I'm only interested in DC, but don't care who buys. Yeah, we're going to talk about all that too. So it's going to be very, very, a good topic for today. Patience is virtue. Restore the Snyderverse. Yes, you already know it, my friend. That is the plan, and we're gonna make it happen. Restore the Snyderverse, Ben Affleck Air, Michael Keaton verse, all that good stuff. Yep, big time, big time. The potential restoration of the Snyderverse could be coming. Oh, it's coming for sure. That is definitely coming. All right, so we're gonna talk about a few things, like I said. Of course, while we wait for the notifications, so share the channel, all that good stuff. If this is the first time you're checking out the channel, welcome, thank you. Hit the subscribe; it doesn't cost you anything. But if you're able to donate to the channel, please do so. It helps out, with the content, the channel, all that stuff. You already know how that goes and things like that. So, yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about a few things with all of this. Comcast should really hurry up and buy WB. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about all that in a few. So, just a quick update to everybody that's keeping up with my comic book Rebel Defenders. Real quick, just a quick update. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to have it for y'all sometime this winter. So it could be dropping by the end of this month, maybe sometime in January. So I'm just working on it and trying to bring y'all something good for issue 2. Remember, this is issue 2 that I'm on. I'm trying to get it physical for y'all and stuff like that. So, the more support, that's going to help, and it's going to contribute to get the funding that we need and stuff like that. So, all right, so let's talk about today's topic. All right. And you might be asking yourselves, what do you mean victories yours again? You didn't win and blah blah blah, right? Well, let me tell you something, because when we were fighting for the Snyder cut at the time, everybody was against us and they were saying that we would never get it, blah blah blah. You already know the story. And what do we have now? The Snyder cut. So that's the main thing. And the whole thing is it's happening. It's happening, and I can't wait to see how very soon we're going to see with Zack Snyder, the cast, everything where things left off. They're gonna pick up. Look, let's be real. There's so much information that has dropped literally between the past 24 hours. It's insane. Since yesterday to today, wow, like there's been so many things. And I'm gonna try to talk about all of them and stuff like that. So first things first, bear with me, all right? Look, IMAX put up a post yesterday to go vote. Which 4 movies would you love to see, theatrically released on IMAX? I'm telling y'all, my friends, this is not a coincidence, all right? I'm just gonna speculate right now, but listen and hear me out. Why all of a sudden IMAX is posting up a poll saying for you, literally for you, the fan, to go out there to their page on the link and put what 4 movies do you want to see, released in IMAX. And number one is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Everybody's putting Zack Snyder's Justice League everywhere. Seriously. The second one, I'm seeing a mix between Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman. So those two are up there in the top 3. And of course, the fourth one, I mean, it's just been playing around. I've seen some Rebel Moon. I've seen also Suicide Squad. I put for my top 4, Zack Snyder's Justice League number 1. After that, I want to see Batman versus Superman, Suicide Squad, and Man of Steel. That's just the order I want to see them, but I want to see all of them released, of course, in IMAX and stuff like that. And this is pretty interesting. This is interesting, my friends. Why are they doing this? And remember, before this, what, like about a week ago, Zack Snyder posted up and he tagged IMAX, and IMAX was like, "Oh, hello, friend," because hey, put some movies out. So, just tagging you for, the clout, if you want to say. And it worked. It worked. They liked it. They commented on it. And all of a sudden, a week later, here we are with this poll, right? It's not a coincidence, my friends. Things are definitely happening. And I'm telling you right now, things are shaping up. All right. The restoration of the Snyderverse, it's on its way and it's going to happen. I'm telling you, so many things are coming out. Everybody's talking, everybody's speculating, and it's awesome to see all the theories of people that are straight up talking about all this and stuff like that. For sure, we're going to hear an update. Yeah, that's true. We're going to hear an update sometime before Christmas. David Zaslav has said it himself, and they're reviewing right now bids. All right. Now, here's an update. All right. To everybody that's out there saying, oh, well, I want Netflix to buy them. I want Paramount. I want Comcast. Look, here's the update as of yesterday and today. All right. We already know that right now, Paramount got turned down 4 times for the 60 billion. All right. They counter offer. We do not know how much. Right. We do not know how much of any of these three: Netflix, Paramount, and Comcast. We don't know. Besides the first time, that Paramount made the offer of 60 billion and David Zaslav turned that down. All right. Today, as of today, 12/2/25, the update is that Netflix got turned down because it didn't meet the numbers that they're looking at. All right. They didn't meet the requirements that they want. But here's the big but: that's not stopping Netflix. That's why now we just heard within the past 24 hours that Netflix upped the game, meaning they increased their bid and it's all cash. And we're hearing the same thing from Paramount, and now we're starting to hear the same thing with Comcast. Question is, we don't know how much. That's the part that none of us know. Nobody knows except WB, David Zaslav, the executives. Hell, I don't even think James Gunn knows how much these offers are because he's not even being consulted. He has no part in this, honestly. This is between David Zaslav, the board, meaning the executives and everybody that's on the board of WB, investors, shareholders, all of that. That's their talk and stuff. And I'm telling you right now, they are aware. They know the huge fan demand. They know about us. Real talk. They know about, the fans, and I'm going to be honest with you. This is getting very interesting. And at the same time, don't be surprised with whatever the turnout is going to be because there are going to be 4 outcomes out of this. And we're going to talk about it. Look, I'll get to the point. 4 outcomes could be the following: Paramount, Netflix, and Comcast could all get a part of the brand. How? We already know that Netflix wants, along with Comcast, they only want to focus on DC, Harry Potter, and certain IPs, but that has to do with like streaming and theatrical. That's what they're focused on. They don't care about the rest. Paramount wants the whole company. They want all of WB, which is good. But we already know where Paramount stands, and like I've made multiple videos about that and stuff like that. Why I say that they're not the best choice. And the same thing with Netflix. Netflix is right now, quote unquote, promising that they're gonna do theatrical releases. Look, let me clarify something. If Netflix really wanted to do theatrical releases, they should have done that way before this sale happened. Because all of a sudden now they want to promise that they're gonna do theatrical releases and that's what they want to focus. Come on. You should have been done that before this sale actually took place. To me, that just smells like, hey, hold on, you're just trying to make your deal sound a little bit more sweeter, but deep down inside, we know you're all about streaming. We know it. Netflix in the end only cares about that. Let's be real. Sure, they've put out a little bit of physical media here and there, a little bit of theatrical releases here and there, but it's not enough. All right. Let's be real. That's the solid truth. All right. Not that I'm against them, but streaming just doesn't convince me 100%. Paramount, we already know what's up with them. They always like to play games. Look at what they've done to Transformers. How many reboots, soft reboots? The mess continues, right? Look at what they're doing right now with the TMNT live action. It's kind of a mess, also. Okay, those are those 2 contenders. Now, Comcast, like I've told y'all several times, and I'll repeat myself, they have a theme park. They focus on streaming. They put out physical media. They have Christopher Nolan. They are serious, okay? And they're also working with the same investors and shareholders that funded and made everything happen with, the sale with Skydance and Paramount. So they're working with their, I guess their business people. Who knows what the hell? And in the end, who knows what's going to come from this? And they're also making a big amount, a cash offer. But we don't know. We don't know how much. That's the thing. We do not know how much any of these companies are willing to put up yet. We haven't heard any counter offers. We just know that they're all putting up money. But the thing is, we do not know how much, they're putting out there and stuff like that. We don't know yet. All right. That's the part that we're still all waiting on. And that's the part the WB is right now reviewing and stuff like that. So it is what it is. We're going to find out soon. And of course, David Zaslav said it, by Christmas, we should all be hearing an update. And I get it. Some of us are, yo, I want to know what's the update. I want to know what's going on. This is coming out. They said this. Look, everything is speculation right now, my friends. Don't believe every update and every news source that you're hearing right now. Everybody's just running with whatever's dropping because they want to be I'm the first to bring it, or breaking news and this. Yo, it's not official. It's official when David Zaslav comes out and WB makes an official statement. Remember, last week, many of you had your hopes up and you got your hopes way too high. You're like, oh, we're going to find out today, last Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I told y'all, don't be surprised if they delay it. And what did they do? They delayed it until yesterday. And yesterday, the same thing. A lot of people were like, oh, we should be finding out today. I told y'all, this is WB we're talking about. WB is always going to pull strings. And what did they do? Again, pulling the same stunt. Like I told y'all, we won't hear an official announcement until, if anything, by Christmas. And if it gets delayed again, don't be surprised, because that's just what WB does. They like to play these games. We're going to talk about playing games. You'll see why. There's one thing I do want to bring up real quick. Okay, Raheem, I see your comment. Disney should buy WB. That's not happening, my friends. That's called monopoly law. If you're not familiar with it, look into it. Disney cannot and will not buy WB. They just can't, because there's a monopoly law. Look into it and you will see exactly what that's all about. There's laws here in the United States of America that prevent Disney from owning everything. They cannot own everything. There's a monopoly law that you have to have a competitor. If you're going to make movies, you have to have competition. If you're going to sell, I don't know, wigs and nails, you have to have competition. Hey, you want to sell burgers? You're not the only one that's going to sell them. You have to have a competitor. That's by law here in the United States of America. So with that being said, everybody, please, like, y'all need to chill out. Disney will never buy Warner Brothers. It's protected by the states and they just can't be allowed. All right. Look, when it comes to all of this and stuff like that, yes, they bought Fox, but that's Fox. It's a whole different story. Look into it. Just look into that. It's just a whole bunch of laws and things like that. Disney cannot buy everything. So just like kind of chill with that. That's not going to happen. So rest assured. That's what you're seeing, that Comcast, Netflix, and Paramount are the only ones that are pretty much up there. Apple can buy too, but it looks like they're not really interested. And of course, you have Amazon, same thing. They don't look like they're really interested like that. So it is what it is. But the whole point is that all these games that are coming out, and I'll tell you why these are games, all right? David Zaslav, in the end, he's one greedy individual. And why do I tell you that? He turned down $60 billion from Paramount, all right? That's a lot of money. A lot of money. So when it all comes down to it and stuff like this, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Look, David Zaslav is probably in a situation that he's like, well, you know what? Let's build up all this attention, all this hype. Let's build all this commotion, if you want to say. And it's been working. You know why? Because today the stocks, and I know I've been quiet about the stocks lately, but notice, since this whole sell, that's, we've been talking about this since October, November, December. All right. We already know that with Superman, James Gunn, it didn't help the company. The stocks were down. Everything was bad. You've seen that I've shown you the numbers, screenshots, and all that stuff. Okay. I'm not the only one that talked about it. So many channels have done the same thing. The point is, now the stocks are at $24.53. That's today. That's what it closed with. Okay. What is this happening? What's happening with this? I think, like I told y'all yesterday in the live stream, what I think is that David Zaslav is probably in the end going to screw all of this up. And you're going to see how. Because remember, David Zaslav is trying to sell Warner Brothers, but split the company. So you have the film and movie division, and then you have what's, shows and, stuff that nobody cares about pretty much. So he's just trying to keep whatever's like streaming and, theatrical. And that's where DC falls into, Harry Potter and, all those IPs that they have and stuff like that. Okay, good. That's where they make the money. Now, we already know that those shows, that whatever they have that they put on their streaming service or whatever, they put it on a third-party app like Tubi and stuff like that, they don't really care about it. So they can sell that off. And then what I think is going to happen, because we're seeing now that the stocks are starting to go back up, that David Zaslav looks like the type that he's going to be like, well, we're in a good position right now. Financially, we're doing good. So we don't need to sell. That can happen too. This is why I'm telling you, we have to be watching and keeping up to date because honestly, look, David Zaslav said a lot of things and he didn't keep his word. He's not a man of his word, right? Remember when he came in, we thought, yo, he was going to do a bunch of things and it's proved to be the opposite, okay? And the same thing could be happening right now. In the end, remember, David Zaslav has the say. And remember, David Zaslav wants $30 a share. And if at the rate that they're going from here to Christmas, all right, I'm just speculating. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen, but don't be surprised if it happens because I wouldn't be surprised. If they're at $24.53 right now, they're only a few dollars from what he wants, $30 a share. What is that going to do? It's going to increase the chances of him saying, hey, we're at $30 right now before selling. You need to step it up. I don't want 30 anymore. Now I want 40 per share. It could happen. That's what I'm telling y'all. We have to keep a close eye on all this situation. In the end, David Zaslav could be like, you know what? I decided not to sell, and we're going to continue doing what we're doing. And he literally milked everybody in the sense of, well, all this commotion, all this talk that everybody was talking about, it increased now their stocks because now investors are starting to quote unquote believe in them again and stuff like that. So it can happen. It can happen. So that's what I'm saying. We don't know exactly what it is. In the end, we're talking about WB here. We're talking about money. And if they want to do that, I mean, he can do it. So who are we to say, hey, stop, you have to sell? No, he doesn't have to sell. If he feels that he's in a situation now that he's better off than what he was months ago, I mean, literally a few months ago, June, July, summertime, the stocks were like down the tank. That's telling you, hey, how do we know that this scumbag might not pull the same stunt again? He could. He could really do it. And, anything could change and everything could flip on all of us. It can, you know? And look, another thing too that I talk about and I want to bring up is look, let's just speculate. Why is Zack Snyder posting up a picture about rewatching Zack Snyder's Justice League? Why is IMAX posting up a poll of saying what 4 movies you want to see in IMAX release? Everybody's putting Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's winning. It's a huge demand. It's telling them, hey, this is what the people want. They're doing statistics. They're seeing numbers and they're seeing results. They're seeing the hunger, and they're like, yo, we could all be making money. The theaters, the concession stands, the product, the movie, the studio. Why do we need to sell? We could do this ourselves. See what I'm saying? That can happen too. And let's not forget the plan B that David Zaslav wanted to do if Superman didn't perform the way that he wanted. Remember, they wanted to bring in Zack Snyder. And then again, let's look at this. Remember, next month in January, now officially in January, remember, Comcast comes into play with HBO Max for and to help out the streaming service. What's cooking in there? What can come from that? Is something being prepped right before us and we don't know it? Are we going to hear a big review, a big update, a big news about, hey, maybe, like I've been telling y'all, because Comcast specifically asked for David Ayer and Zack Snyder for DC alternative content exclusive for HBO Max. And we already know that the Snyder Cut was released exclusive for HBO Max. Could the same thing be repeating in the sense of, yo, Zach just told us, let's go rewatch it? That means go ahead and crush it on the internet. Let's show them that this is what the fans want and let's show them the huge demand. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. Anything is possible. Anything can come from all of this. Again, this is just me speculating. I'm not saying that this is what's happening. This is what's going to come. Who knows? Who knows? The point is that we're in the middle of this sale. Are we going to hear the final numbers yet? No. We're going to supposedly hear it by sometime Christmas because that's what David Zaslav said. All right. I think that's when he wants to go public and finally say, hey, look, we're going to sell it, but he could sell it with strings attached. This is what I'm saying. We have to keep a close eye on this whole thing with the sale just because, there's so many things that are happening and things are changing left and right. News updates constantly coming out. It could be one thing right now in less than an hour, less than 5 minutes, less than 30 minutes. It changed, So regardless what happens, if it sells or if it doesn't sells, we already know that for sure the Snyderverse is coming back. How and where is yet to be known. None of us know, but for sure something is coming, you know, and we just have to stay on the watch and see all of that because, you know, honestly, we just have to see what's going to come from all of this. And right now, yeah, I agree with you. We can't trust no company right now. Nobody, Right now, everything is just talk. Everything is just talk. And, Netflix could say, hey, we're going to do, theatrical releases. Okay, that's your word that you're saying. But the moment you sign, was it in writing? Was it in print? Because if not, they could just say it and they don't have to do it. See what I'm saying? Everything, that's what WB is doing right now. They're reviewing all of these offers that they're getting and they're reading the small fine print, the little small letters. Have you ever been to a dealership or you're buying something and then they take you to the back and you sit down and you're like, damn, what's taking so long? It's because they're writing up a big ass contract trying to shaft you. So in the long run, you're in a contract for like almost 20 years that you're probably never going to pay off, and they're going to get you with that. And those are the small little letters. And then at the end, they're like, oh, it's this much, but then it's a different price. But are you really going to sit there and read that long, list of everything? No, let's be realistic. No, it's going to take you days to review that. That's what they're doing right now. They're reviewing everything in those small little letters because that's what's telling them, hey, this is, what the contract's going to bring. This is what our agreement. They have to review that for three different companies: Netflix, Comcast, and Paramount, and if they had to go back and change it with their lawyers and all that stuff, they had to revise it, recheck it. It's a hassle. It's a hassle. That's what I'm telling y'all. Starting from now until probably Christmas, like David Zaslav said, we're probably going to be focused on one company per week. And that's leading us literally into Christmas because this whole week could be focused right now on Netflix. We won't know nothing. Next week could be Paramount. And then the last week could be Comcast. We don't know what's going to come from it. We don't know. We'll never know until it's a done deal and we actually get an update from David Zasloff and the board, probably WB themselves, who knows? And they're gonna be like, hey, this is what our decision is, and then we'll find out exactly on what's happening. So that could happen. It could be a possibility. It's not something that I look forward to because we know how David Zasloff is. He turned down 60 billion, but at the same time, he wants the most for his money, and that's understandable. I get it. He's trying to secure his funds. That's what it is. He wants to leave, but still have that big money coming in for when he retires or whatever it is that he's trying to do and stuff like that. And in the long run, he just wants to secure his foundation in the sense of his assets when it comes to it and stuff like that. So, it is what it is, but we'll see what's gonna happen and stuff like that. Yeah, I made this one. The what do you call it? The picture that you're seeing. Yeah, I'm the one that made this one. I literally just made it in a few minutes right now, right before the stream. Um, the whole point is that we have to keep on pushing. We can't stop, and we have to keep on letting the studio know, hey, this is what we want, whether it sells or it doesn't sell. Our goal and our focus still continues. We're not stopping regardless until they give us what we want. Whether it goes to a new studio or it stays with the same studio. That's what we're gonna do because we're already telling them, hey, this is what we want. IMAX is even aware of it. Hey, this is what the fans want. And if you haven't gone and put in your vote for that poll that they said, go and which ones are the movies that you want to watch in IMAX, go for it. The link is out there. You could check out, I guess, IMAX directly, see their website, and it should have it there. If you're on X, which is Twitter, check it out. The links are all over there and stuff like that. You can go on my page; it's there too. So it's good. It's good. It's telling them this is brand awareness. And notice how James Gunn hasn't said anything. James Gunn hasn't denied, and he hasn't even confirmed anything. He's quiet. He's quiet because he knows that nobody's paying attention right now to his DCU. He's trying so hard to get everybody's attention, and nobody's interested. Nobody is interested. They're trying to put out so many things. They're trying to make all these false promises because that's what it is with James Gunn. And he's trying to make it seem like, oh, the DCU is in a good condition and is a better situation and blah blah. No, it's not. We know that it's not. That's why I made this picture that you're seeing right now. With Zack Snyder, the Snyderverse, things were a lot better. With James Gunn, unfortunately, everything is just sinking and it continues to flop. Everything they're putting out, that's all it is. That's what it is. Exactly. The shills are the only ones talking about it. And even the shills are starting to turn on James Gunn. That tells you a lot. They're starting to wake up and say, "Hey, we were wrong." When you have people saying, "Hey, we were wrong. We owe Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse and the community an apology," they've come to their senses. They've come to their senses, realizing that that this movie industry with DC and with James Gunn, it's not it. It's not, and that's what they need to realize. Hey, we've been right all along. If you had the studio step away and say, "Zach, do your thing, finish, and then we move on to the next project," we wouldn't be in this situation. We seriously wouldn't. We would have been moved on. You want us to stop talking about restore Snyderverse, the DCEU? Then give us what we want. Plain and simple. That's the easy trade off. Give us what we want, finish it, and we will gladly move on. That's it. You can do whatever the hell you want. You want to have James Gunn for the next 100 years? I don't care. As long as you give us what we want and finish it right, correctly, then we have a deal. Until then, we're going to keep on keeping our wallets closed. That's it. And we have to keep on pushing. These trending events are just a part of the movement that we're doing. The boycotting, everything that comes with it, all that is the same thing. But in the end, the studio knows, hey, the Snyder fans are not giving up. And I'm starting to see a lot of more channels talking about it. They're starting to say, hey, these Snyder fans, they're determined. We are determined, I'm glad to be here with each and every one of you, talking about these videos, making these videos, doing these live chats, all this stuff, because it's telling them, meaning all these shills and all these paid off people, hey, we don't give up. We do not give up. We're still here. We're still going because we're fighting for a good cause. That's exactly what we want. And in the end, they're going to give us what we want. They gave it with the Snyder Cut, regardless of whatever the excuse was, if you want to say. The point is that we got it. And that's what these shows are not happy about. They're not happy that we actually got that. Can you imagine seeing Zack Snyder's Justice League released in IMAX? That would be incredible. That would be incredible. Yeah, for sure. That would be the final nail in the coffin for DCU. Completely, completely. You know, yeah. People will pay. People will pay that. I'm telling you, they would pay $50. The real customer will pay it straight up. All these so-called quote unquote real DC fans, James Gunn supporters, they're fake. They didn't show up to the theaters. They didn't. They were big and bad trying to be on the internet. But when the movie released, where were they? Where were they? Those fans were nowhere to be found because Superman was supposed to make $1 billion according to them. According to them. Remember that? And it didn't happen. That's what happened. It didn't happen. That's the reality. And that's why all these James Gunn fans are salty about. They know that they did not win. They know that they lost. Period. We won. We're winning, or we're going to win again. And the end victory is going to be ours again. It will be. It will be because the Snyderverse is going to get restored. To anybody that tells you it's not going to happen, that's the person that's in delusion. That's the one that's in denial. Those are the ones that can't accept reality. The reality is right before us. We're seeing it. I'm telling you, all of this is going to change. Once this studio sells, or if it doesn't sell, the mission continues. We keep on fighting for Restore the Snyderverse. Period. We continue. Let's just say Netflix doesn't buy them. Let's say Paramount doesn't buy them. And let's say that Comcast doesn't buy them. Oh, we lost. No, we didn't. Because we continue to put pressure on the studio respectfully and tell them, hey, we're still not going to support your movies because Supergirl is up next and that movie is going to tank at the box office. We'll make sure of it. We made sure that Superman tanked at the box office, and we're going to do the same with Supergirl. Nobody's interested for Supergirl. There's not enough fan base for that. It just isn't. But DC, James Gunn, they think that there's a huge fan demand for that. There's none. There's none. They don't have an army like we do within the Snyderverse community. We are the majority. They're the minority. That tells you everything. Honestly, those are facts. This is why we're seeing all these things coming out, and who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, this could be an experiment. This could be an experiment that they're seeing, and they're like, hey, let's see what the expectations are out there. It could be. It could damn well be that this is all an experiment, and it's like Joker said, it's all part of the plan. It could be, you know. Regardless, we're going to see Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 in due time. It will. All outcomes of the sale are good for the Snyderverse. Almost certain that Netflix and Universal Paramount is the wild card, but I would bet more for than against. Yeah, yeah. Regardless, that something is happening for sure. It's happening. It's just we have to see how all of this is going to end. But again, we're gonna find out exactly, if not by Christmas. That's when I think we're officially going to hear an update, and we're gonna see what's gonna come from it. A lot of people are excited. A lot of people are speculating, and people are just right now making things up. A lot of things are just up in the air. We don't know. We don't know. We're not in those meetings. We'll never be in those meetings. Yeah, exactly. The writing is on the wall. It's plain and simple. It's there literally on the wall. These are not just coincidence. So when people say, "Oh, Zach is just putting those posts just because he's remembering," and when he was there, then why the hell did Zach post that Ben Affleck is Batman? Why is he posting Henry Cavill is Superman? He's talking about it present, not past. That's the difference. That's the difference. When you have Zach, the man, the director, talking about all this, what is that telling you? That he knows something. He just can't say anything yet. That's the difference. When you have non disclosure agreements, you can't talk about it. You could hint maybe towards it, but hey, they can't say anything for sure. Exactly. Language and actions matter. That's true. And the actions are speaking loud. We're seeing it. Exactly. Zach's not posting this just for nostalgia. He's not. He's doing this with a purpose. He's telling us, yo, keep on going. Don't give up. That's the same thing he did for the Snyder Cut. Until boom, we got the official announcement that we're getting the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. That's what I'm telling y'all. I'm just speculating and saying, yo, what if, all right? Low key, the deal's already struck with Comcast. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that it's happening. I'm not saying that it's not happening. But what if? What if they already struck a deal low key, and that whole DC alternative content for HBO Max? And right now we're seeing IMAX saying, hey, what movies you want to see? They're seeing that everybody's putting the Snyderverse, the Snyder Cut in number one. So that's showing, bringing brand awareness. Hey, people want this movie released in IMAX. Okay, that's the theaters that they're seeing directly, IMAX. Wasn't Zack Snyder's Justice League exclusively filmed for IMAX? Put one and one, what does it add up to? Two. Exactly. See what I'm saying? You seeing the pattern? And Comcast coming into play next month with HBO Max. This is not a coincidence. I don't see this as a coincidence. I just don't. It's just too much. It's just way, way too much, honestly. And exactly, Larry Fong is posting. Why is Larry Fong posting? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. He just posted the other day, don't give in too much. And then I think a few minutes, hours later, I don't know, he said, anything is possible. Yo, that sounds exactly like when Ben Affleck said, yo, anything is possible. You see what I'm saying? Anything can happen. Larry Fong saying anything can happen. And now you have Ben Affleck also said, anything is possible. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are happening. And a lot of things that are just not coincidence, my friends. There's a lot of things that the pattern and the road is all starting to build up to it. And James Gunn knows that he's good. James Gunn knows that he can't stop this. James Gunn's days, unfortunately, as CEO of DC Studios are coming to an end. He knows it. He knows that his time has ran out completely. You know, his DCU didn't work. This reboot didn't work. Numbers at the box office didn't work. Merchandise didn't sell. And talking about merchandise, earlier today I was at Ross. Guess what's hitting already, Ross? All of the merchandise of Superman. That's the new stuff that's coming out this week, along with some other stuff, Marvel Legends and things like that. So if you're looking out there, if you're a collector and stuff like that, or if not, all this is already out there, and it's wild. It's wild to see it, because most of these things are Target exclusives. They didn't sell at Target. So the kaiju with the Superman that he goes in the belly, I know it was a Target exclusive, whatever. That was at Ross today, and they were like stocked up. I was like, wow, like, okay, this is where they're finally at. See what I'm saying? And even when the movie came out, they were hitting, the shelves of Ross. So that's telling you, and it's just not selling. You're not gonna find anything from Zack Snyder merchandise at Ross. You're not, because it's gonna sell out before it even reaches there, and that's telling you what's the difference. So when you have Zach posting, you have the studio, testing the waters. In other words, that's exactly what's happening. This is what is coming from it, and we already know. We know that with the Snyderverse, everything sells. It makes money. It makes money. Meanwhile, with James Gunn, it's costing them money. They're losing money. That's the big difference right there. It's interesting to see how all of this is just taking shape and how everything is coming together. And you see how all these shills and all these James Gunn fans are crying and complaining. Literally, they're literally crying and complaining because they know that it's going to happen. There's no stopping it. It's going to make a comeback. It's already making a comeback. And honestly, like, it's. I mean, what can you say? Honestly, it's wild. It's completely insane. To be honest, DC Toys today are mid as well. Both Spin Master and definitely McFarlane. That's why we need Mattel 6-inch. Yeah, I honestly I'm looking forward to Mattel. I mean, I have the whole line of Batman versus Superman and Justice League from when they came out, but I like what McFarlane has been doing. And the thing is that McFarlane just has real bad distribution, and I mean that says a lot, in the industry and stuff like that. Like I said, we just have to wait and see what's going to come from all of this. And in the end, what offer, if, because now I'm starting to be like, yo, is David Zaslav going to let his ego in the way and say in the end, hey, we're not going to sell just because their stocks are starting to go up? Remember, when Paramount offered to David Zaslav the 60 billion, they were willing to give him $25 per share, and he said no. And now they're almost literally what? They're a few cents away from $25 doing it themselves. What is that telling you? We have to also see David Zaslav last minute could be like, yo, you know what? I'm not gonna sell because look at what we did. We did that without selling. And that's where the problem could come in. But then again, if he wants to sell and he wants to break off his own company, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Like he's trying to hold on to the DC Harry Potter IPs and all these other ones that he knows that he can make money off of. So who knows what he wants to do with that? He could sell all those other shows that are going to be on, like little small shows and small networks and stuff like that. To him, that's just like pocket change. He's like, who cares? He doesn't want to let go of DC like that, not without a big offer. That's what he's trying to see because he knows that that's what people are spending money. So he wants to get his share even when he's not there. He's like, hey, I want this money to still come into my account. So, like he's just trying to do everything that he can to acquire every type of offer that he can to the highest. And $30 is what he wants. He's almost there on his own in the sense of without selling. So he could also be a scumbag last minute and be like, hey, you know what? I'm not selling just because we've already reached almost 20. I mean, they're almost at 30 per share on their own, if you want to say. Yeah. It's just that everybody's talking about it. That's why these numbers are starting to go up again and stuff like that. Do you like McFarlane's Mortal Kombat figures? Yeah, I got some of the ones that just came out and the ones from Mortal Kombat 11. I don't like all of them. I just like some of the characters. But yeah, he puts out some good stuff. Um, let's see, light skin, what's up? Uh, Shills saw Superman get kicked in the nuts and said that's Superman. Yeah, and it didn't work for them. It didn't work for them. That's the thing. Um, yeah, make Zach the CEO of DC. That would be cool. But again, who knows? Who knows what the plans are going to be? But again, things are getting interesting. Like there's a lot of things that are coming from all of this. Charger six pack. Just a few things. I mean, just rewatch the stream after it's done. But we've been talking about a few things with DC with the sale and Zaslav. Maybe he could not sell last minute just because of his greed and stuff like that. So again, we have to keep an eye close on what's going on and stuff like that. Beku movies, what's up? Appreciate you, man. I've been seeing your tags on X and stuff. I appreciate that. I don't be so much on X like that like I do on here, but from time to time, you see when I like your comments, that means that I literally was on it. So, I just it's too much to keep up with social media now. Let's see. Yeah, the shows are scared. Zaslav announced that he's not signing WB. The stock prices would drop almost instant. Yeah, almost instantly. That's what I'm worried about too. Exactly, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. That could happen. That's what I'm saying. David Zaslav's greed could screw all of this for everybody. And I'm telling you, if David Zaslav does not sell, let me emphasize that. If David Zaslav does not sell Warner Brothers to any of these companies that are willing to give him money, this is going to affect the whole industry. This is not just going to affect WB. This is going to affect Sony, Marvel, Apple, and the list continues. It's going to affect Netflix. It's going to affect everybody. It's a domino effect. Remember, it's the entertainment world. All right. Everything and everyone helps each other. They all need each other. You don't believe me? Look at Tubi. Tubi is one of those streaming services that you're like, yo, that's where like the shitty movies go to go watch. No, not necessarily. Not everybody can buy and pay for a streaming service. So people watch Tubi, Pluto TV just because, right? Some people have all of them because they're big balling like that. Some don't have none. Whatever. The point is that these companies, right? Remember, Pluto. I think Pluto, but I know Tubi is owned by Disney. So Disney still pays a percentage if DC, they got to get the license to put these DC movies, like they have the Flash, if whatever movies they put on those services and stuff like that, besides their own. All right. So all of these shows help each other. If David Zaslav doesn't help, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna be like, hey, what do we do with these IPs? And now people don't want to pay for them. That's gonna bite them. It's gonna hurt them in the long run financially. And then turning down $60 billion, that's a lot of money. Why would you turn down $60 billion? That's insane. That is really insane. I mean, like, how do you turn down $60 billion? I mean, greed is the only thing that actually takes you there. And that's what we're seeing with David Zaslav. That's what we're seeing how he's running this company. That's why you're seeing how this company has been going down to the ground faster every single time. And now, because of the sale, everybody's talking about it. So everybody's speculating. Everybody's like, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait until it sells and this and that. So it's obvious that things are trending and it's a hot topic. That's why everybody's talking about it. And of course, things are like everything. When things are in demand, the prices go up. So obviously, the stocks are starting to go up. The price is starting to go up because it looks promising. That's the difference. It appears to be promising. But in the end, yeah, that's not going to be a good thing. It's just not. It's going to affect everything because it's going to come down. Look, if you have Paramount right now about to lay off people this month, what is that telling you? That's telling you that things are bad. If you're seeing that Netflix is like, yo, we're trying to make this offer, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, we're going to up the price, but at the same time, we can't do too much because then we're going to take a financial loss because it's true. It's true. Don't think that by Netflix making this offer, it's going to help them and keep on increasing. No, they're gonna reach the point. They're gonna be like, we can't. This is just too much. It's too much. We can't take this risk. And financially, that's suicidal when it comes to business. Like you don't want that. You don't want to push more than what you owe on debt, and that's where WB is at right now. WB is a big debt to absorb. You think that by buying them out, oh, we're gonna clean house and things are gonna change overnight? It's gonna take some time. It's not gonna change overnight. It's going to take a few years to be able to start seeing profit. It's not just you just buy WB today and in a month you already recuperated everything. No, that's that's nearly impossible, honestly, because of the debt that WB has. The only way that they can buy out WB at the price that they want and they could clear out some of their debt fast is by, of course, one, restoring the Snyderverse, two, listening to the fans, giving them what they want, three, you have to do good movies and you have to put them out first theatrically. You have to. Once you're done with the theatrical run, then you move to streaming. And then you continue to put it on physical media. You keep on doing all the things that you want and stuff like that. So, it just makes more sense business wise. And it would be much better for business, and of course for the company. And we'll see. We will see what's gonna happen, in the end. Like I said, what's gonna really happen because right now everything is just speculation. Everybody's right now you know, just coming up with their own theories and thinking this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. We have no idea. Nobody for sure knows. James Gunn doesn't even know what's going on. He has no clue. James Gunn is being kept in the closet in the sense of, yeah, we're not sharing anything with you, you know. And speaking about Marvel, now that you're bringing up Marvel, look, I'll be honest with you. I see that once this whole marketing and we start seeing updates for Doomsday, I'm telling y'all right now, things are gonna change. Some of you might be like, no, shit's bad with Marvel. Yeah, but we're talking about the Avengers here. The Avengers, they can't screw that up. It's a big IP. They have to sell merchandise. They have to sell movie tickets. They have to sell. Doomsday, I'm telling you right now, it's going to make $1 billion. Not because, oh, you're shilling for Marvel and, oh, but I thought you liked DC and this. Look, let's be real. Let's be honest right now. I know that Marvel has been in the dump for a while, but we're talking about an IP that's established already. We're talking about the Avengers. This is the next phase in the Avengers. I'm not talking about any other IP. I'm talking about the Avengers. You're talking about a big brand that makes and brings $1 billion every time. Say what you want, but those are the facts. Marvel's Doomsday is going to surpass $1 billion. And Secret Wars is going to surpass $1 billion. Those are guaranteed. That's what I'm telling you. Marvel must be panicking and worrying if they know the Snyderverse gets restored. Because the only way that DC can go up against Marvel with the Avengers, it's not with James Gunn. Let me repeat that. DC with James Gunn cannot go up against Marvel with the Avengers. They just can't. Because James Gunn's DCU is a joke. Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyderverse, is the only IP at DC that can go up against face to face against the Avengers. And some of you might be like, oh, well, why didn't they release it theatrically and blah, blah, blah? Because of WB, that's why. The bad decisions that they've made. But again, this is their opportunity to redeem themselves. If you have IMAX testing the waters right now, what movie do you want to see in the theaters? And everybody's putting Zack Snyder's Justice League. A week ago, we saw Zack Snyder himself post up a poll, yo, and tag IMAX with that Batman versus Superman picture. What is that telling you? Something is happening. They're testing the waters. All right. Zach posting all of these things left and right. I'm telling you, that's the only way that they can go up against Marvel. That's the only thing. Why would the Russo brothers be back all of a sudden for the next Avengers? They could have got the director Wakiki Watiti, whatever the hell his name is, from the what is it, Thor: Love and Thunder. They could have got him. They could have got brought back Joss Whedon. How come they didn't do that? Oh no, they had to go back to the Russo brothers because they know that that's what was working for them, and that's what DC needs to do. DC knows that, hey, you need to bring Zack Snyder back. You need to bring David Ayer back. That's the only thing that's going to make you money at this point, and that's when you're going to be able to start seeing some revenue back at your company and stuff like that. The box office, it's not going to lie. It's going to tell you, hey, straight up, this is what people want and stuff like that. So in the end, look, honestly, they just have to look at it and say, look, what was working? What was working? This is why Marvel's cleaning house within their own company. They're straight up doing what they're having to do. All right. Look, I get it. I get it. Can Ezra Miller be redeemed? Yes or no? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. All right. I'm tired of all these crybabies. Let me say it. I'm tired of all these crybabies straight up crying and complaining. Oh, replace Ezra Miller, replace Amber Heard, and blah, blah, blah. Yo, like, stop being in your feelings. You don't live with these people. You weren't there when they were going through these problems. So please stop it with that. We need Ezra Miller to come back and reprise his role in the Snyderverse for continuity's sake within Justice League. I want that. All right. I'm the paying consumer and I want that. I want to see Amber Heard back. I don't care about their personal lives. Some of y'all get this shit too twisted. Oh, but they did this and that. Were you there? Were you literally present? Were you there when it happened? No, right? Okay, then. So let's stop talking about people's personal lives. And I want to see these people. Oh, but Gal and what's going on? I don't care what's going on. I just want to see her back and reprise her role. All of these people are screwed up. Ben Affleck is an alcoholic. Do I still want to see him because of that? I don't care. We all have our problems. I want to see them all back. Oh, but it's okay for some of you to justify James Gunn, especially with all the disgusting Disney tweets and everything that he put that Disney fired him over, right? That's acceptable. Get out of here. That's why, like I said, yeah, In the end, Ezra Miller, Amber Heard, all these actors and actresses can be redeemed. Meanwhile, James Gunn is hiring people right now. If you don't believe me, go look at it. He's hiring people with criminal records. Go look into it, and then you come and talk to me. I'm just telling y'all because we need to stop being in our feelings about that. Honestly, look. In the end, it's all about making money. That's all it is. This is what this whole sale is about. It's all about making money. The Snyderverse brought in money. It made money. WB are the ones that played the games. WB are the ones that are to be held accountable for everything that they screwed up. They did that. It's not our fault that they had to reshoot and do extra stuff for Justice League. It's not our fault that they had to put out two versions of Batman versus Superman. That's their fault because they wanted to be like Marvel and they're still trying to be like Marvel. And it's not working. It's not working. What is that telling you? That fans have had enough. People are tired of it. People are tired of it. Yes, we do. You like Ezra and Amber in their roles. I'm sure most of y'all on this chat has done some wild shit in your lives. Get the mirror and look into it. Exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. None of us can sit here and say that we're saints. Oh, we're perfect. We don't screw up. All of us. We all have skeletons in our closets. Let's be real. Ezra Miller, he screwed up in real life. That's his problem. When it comes to the movies, I want to see Ezra Miller back like we saw with Zack Snyder in Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's my Flash. I don't care what some people might be agreeing, disagreeing. That's my Flash. For the continuity, that's who I want. The same thing with Amber Heard. Amber Heard, I don't care what happened in her personal life. I wasn't there. I'm not a judge. That has nothing to do with me. I want to see her reprise her role in the movie because that's what the continuity continues. All right. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Marvel that they have their skeleton in the closet, but they keep it on the low. They don't say anything. Oh, but we're gonna give them a freebie, right? We're gonna give them a freebie pass so nobody talks about it. Come on, let's stop being hypocrites. Let's be real. Let's be real. You know, let's not pick and choose and say who stays and who has to get recasted. Nah, you know. In the end, it's all for the sake of continuity. Exactly. James Gunn is running that whole club, and nobody says anything. They all turn the other eye. We know what's up. You know. Um, yeah, it's not our fault that James Gunn wasted precious film budget monies to unnecessary reshoots for the flush. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, he should have used the money wisely. And again, he had the opportunity. He had the opportunity, and he completely dropped the ball. But this is what his legacy is gonna, remain. You wanted to do that. You brought that upon yourself, James Gunn. You had so many opportunities, and you still have the opportunity to redeem yourself, but you refuse to do it. Why? Because of your ego. And thanks to your ego, you've brought this upon the studio. They're literally going up for sale. They're about to enter bankruptcy because nothing that you've been putting out with DC saved the company. James Gunn's still being quiet. Yeah, he's still being quiet. He's not saying a word. He is quiet and he's trying to promote whatever it is that he's trying to promote for Supergirl and whatever the hell he's putting, and nobody cares. There's only a few people liking his posts. Meanwhile, Zack Snyder puts up a post. Everybody, including the shills, are talking about it. That's what I love. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's speculating. You have Grace Randolph. Remember that? Remember that poll? She was trying to mock us and say, "Oh, the Snyder fans, this and that, blah blah." And who won her own shitty poll? We did. We proved her wrong again. You have all these other shows too, you know, and I won't say names because I'm not gonna get free clout for this one. But I know there's this one that loves to make content about me. You all know who he is. Don't even put his name in the chat because we don't need to give him no attention. He made up a poll about, oh, he's a huge shield for James Gunn and Superman and stuff like that. He's always making videos about me and other YouTubers, whatever. And then in his own poll, he lost because everybody voted, even though he supports James Gunn and his whole fan base is on James Gunn, everybody still voted for Zack Snyder. And he deleted the poll. What is that telling you? They can't even face it. They can't. They really can't face it. These James Gunn shills cannot face and accept the reality. It hurts them. It triggers them. It bothers them. And I love it because it shows you that we're winning. It shows you we are the majority. We've always been the majority. Wake up. We are the majority. Join our side. We're the winning team. We are the winning team. Some of you might be like, oh, you're not winning, but James Gunn is doing, He's doing Man of Tomorrow. He's doing Clayface, and he's doing all these other movies. Oh, where's the Snyderverse? Joke's on you. All of that's coming to an end. Batman Brave and the Bold, that's not going to see daylight. That is not going to see daylight. I'm telling you right now. And once this sale does happen, or, all right, I'll talk about it if it does happen. If the sale happens, Man of Tomorrow with James Gunn is not going to see daylight. If it doesn't happen, if it doesn't sell, right? If WB doesn't sell, we're still going to make Man of Tomorrow flop. Period. That's it. Regardless, we're going to win. You can go ahead and put it and release it. But guess what? Nobody's going to show up to that movie. The same way that they didn't show up for Superman this summer, not enough people showed up. That it was Domestic Man. That's the same way we're going to do for when it comes to Supergirl and everything after that. Look at that. WB is straight up a mess. Even James Gunn, that he's delaying Lanterns. Remember, he was talking all big and bad about it. Oh, Lanterns and this and that. Oh, now it's coming after Supergirl. I wonder why. I wonder why. Exactly. They're all gonna be tax write-offs. But guess what? We're going to see the real Superman, Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill, the real Man of Tomorrow. That's what we're going to see instead of James Gunn's, Domestic Man. That's what we're gonna see. Nobody wants to see a super family, whatever the hell they're trying to build. No, nobody wants that. You seriously want me to take you serious that you're gonna say, oh, Marvel's Avengers is going up against James Gunn's DCU? What, the super family? You gonna tell me that the super families was gonna go along with the Justice Gang against come on, like Shao Kahn said in Mortal Kombat, don't make me laugh. Straight up, don't make me laugh. If you play Mortal Kombat, you'll know when you fight Shao Kahn, he's like, don't make me laugh. That's exactly how I feel. I'm like, yo, you seriously going to tell me that James Gunn's universe going up against Marvel's Avengers is really going to surpass? Let's be real. You might as well just start doing, you might as well start filing for bankruptcy right now. Seriously. Lanterns, I don't think that's going to see daylight also. And look, all right, when it comes to this whole thing of the contract, I just want to say real quick, James Gunn's contract is supposed to be done November 1st. So, look, he has less than a year. He literally has 11 months left on his contract. Let's show him what's up. Let's show him. Now is when we go full power and we tell him straight up, hey, we're not playing around. We're not. Our wallets will remain closed. That's straight up what it is. I'm telling you, a lot of things are changing. This whole DCU, barely anybody's interested. Nobody's interested. Barely anybody. And the people that they have, it's not enough. Because if it was enough, and if the DCU fans and the Gunverse was the majority, like they think that they are, we wouldn't be in this talk right now. We wouldn't be talking about, oh, WB's up for sale. DC's doing bad. James Gunn movies are tanking. We would have been saying otherwise, but we're not. And what are we seeing? Zack Snyder posting. And he's not posting every in the blue moon here and there. Oh, maybe once now, probably in 8 months. And no, he's posting like every other day now. Literally back to back. It's not coincidence, my friends. He did the same thing for the Snyder Cut. He was building up that momentum until boom, we got it. We got it, honestly. And that's what happened. We got it. That's all that matters. We have the Snyder Cut. A lot of people are still salty about it, but we got it. That's all it is. I got another question. Who wants to see a whole dedicated saga to Superman? It's like what Sony tried to do with Spider-Man. They try to make him have their own cinematic universe. Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what they're doing. And again, fans didn't show up for that. We saw it with Madam Web. We saw it with Morbius. Yo, this is crazy. I think Morbius was more successful than James Gunn's Superman. And that tells you because at least Morbius, we got 2 rounds of that bad boy in the movie theaters. They released it twice. Even though that movie was shitty, it still got released theatrically twice. Meanwhile, James Gunn's Superman only got released once. And look at how bad that struggled to make the money at the box office. But that just tells you. And it's wild. It's wild. it's incredible to see how all these things are coming together and seeing how everything is just like taking place, I guess. But we're gonna see. We are going to see. Yeah, WB is losing money. They love to lose money. I just don't know. Is their ego? Is their ego? It's like, yeah, they rather see Peacemaker with the orgy scenes, Jimmy Olsen, a show that nobody asked for, a drunk Supergirl. I agree with you. Instead of seeing their main characters from their IPs, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, going up against the biggest threat in their universe, Darkseid. That is insane. That's like saying, hey, Disney, how about the next Avengers? Instead of everybody fighting, how about we just put some, good music and have a good old dance off? You see how stupid that sounds? That's exactly how this sounds. That's how it sounds with James Gunn. Nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about it. It's insane, honestly. Zack Snyder was never given a chance. The WB studio interfered with all of Zack Snyder's movies from the beginning. That's true. They didn't like Nolan giving the helm to Zack Snyder. Yeah, big time, big time. Yep, I agree with you. That's exactly what happened. You say you want Universal to buy WBD. Yeah, yeah. Morbius is a badass character. I don't mind a solo movie if done right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of the character, but yo, they sold us a lie too. Because remember, they put that Spider-Man in the background, so everybody was speculating, yo, we're gonna finally see Spider-Man. It didn't happen, but it is what it is. And for whatever that movie was, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie about it. And I like the end credit scene that you see Vulture talking with Morbius, and then they mention Spider-Man. I'm like, yo, you guys are just gonna tease that and not build up to it. It's like, again, like Sony, you don't want to make money. It's just like WB. You're not doing anything with your IPs. It's like it just makes no sense. To me, it's just wild. It's completely wild. Who knows? you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. After Secret Wars, let's take a long break from the MCU. They probably might. Who knows? Yeah, I don't. After Secret Wars, I'll be good. I'll be like, yeah, I'm done. I guess. Um, but again, I mean, this is Disney we're talking about, so we'll happy. I mean, we'll see what happens and stuff. Happy second day of December. Yeah, yeah. The end of the month. That's insane. Here we are at the end of the month. Time has gone fast. This year's just zoomed by. Zack Snyder never got the freedom if he did like James Gunn, and WB didn't. I mean, won't be selling in DC. There will be a better brand today. Yeah, big time. They would be. They should just continue with Zach and finish that, and we would have moved on. But instead, they're making it much more complicated, and they're just giving us more to keep on fighting for. Warner Bros. Are in the same position 20 Fox Century years ago, and now they're owned by Disney. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully soon, WB can be owned by another company. James Gunn never lets anyone cook on set, always passing his notes. Yeah, and he's even said it. He just came out a few days right before Thanksgiving that he's giving notes. He's giving notes for Supergirl, and he's giving notes to Clayface. So what is that telling you? That he's giving notes to all of these other movies and all these other productions. So, don't be surprised. I'm telling y'all, all these movies that are dropping and they're gonna be coming out if we make it that far, they're all gonna have the James Gunn fingerprint all over it in the sense of that's James Gunn's mark on it. And in the end, all these movies, they're not gonna bring back the numbers and the money that they think that they're gonna get. Um, yeah, James Gunn, greed, greed, greed. That's it. That's it. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. We will see. Yeah, Zack Snyder will get justice. You've been watching and playing Eastern Entertainment. Nice, nice, cool, cool. Yeah. How can a grown man enjoy James Gunn's humor? Yeah, I don't even know how some people can literally enjoy that. I mean, that's what's humor for. I mean, to each their own. Don't get me wrong. I like some stupid comedy also, but James Gunn is just not it with DC, honestly. Um, yeah, I just like my DC more serious. I just can't with the comedy anymore. Remember when many people were saying Ezra should be recast and replace Ezra with Grant Gustin? Yeah, I was never with that. I've always been against that, just because of the continuity. Forget Snyderverse, Netflix all cash bid to buy WB. Could bring back Christopher Nolan for The Dark Knight 4. Did you see that article? No, I didn't. I didn't even. There's so many articles that are coming out and people are just making up things. I mean, I don't even know what to believe anymore. Honestly, like it's just so much. There's so much things that are just dropping out there and stuff like that. So, But I'll check it out. I'm gonna look into it to see what that's about. Supergirl, another girl with daddy issues. No thanks. Yeah, 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 completely. Yeah, I agree with you. James Gunn turning in a whole pee party. That's he straight up did. He straight up did. We see it with the opening of Peacemaker season 2. I didn't watch it. I don't plan on watching it, but just hearing everybody talking about it, yeah, I don't need to watch it to know that's how bad it is and stuff like that. So yeah, exactly. James Gunn, Suicide Squad was a flop, but they put him in charge. I make it make sense. That's how I feel. Do you think Netflix will buy WB? I don't know, my friend. I really don't know right now anything or anyone of who's gonna do it. We haven't heard how much are the counter offers of each studio. We don't know how much Netflix is willing to put. We just know that they're putting up a big amount of money, cash. Same thing like Paramount, Comcast, but I don't know. I don't know. I just at this point everything is just up in the air. We don't know. Yeah, we need the OG cast. Yeah, big time, big time. I agree with you. Supergirl drinks to cope with her daddy issues. So James Gunn. Yeah, that says everything. And they're gonna make her raunchy. They're gonna make her extra raunchy. You're gonna see. It's the mind of James Gunn. What do we expect? All that silliness and he's just gonna try to put it and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, what a terrible example for the future women of tomorrow and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a disaster. The whole Justice Gang nonsense. I'm in Chicago where we have a serious gang problem, intensive gun. Yeah, you see, like Justice Gang. Wow, that tells you everything. You know, Gun copy the boys with the scene. Yeah, probably. I'm tired of James Gunn's DCU. Like I'm tired of live action remade Disney movies. Yeah, I am too. I'm tired of the live remade movies and stuff. Just it's played out honestly. James Gunn humor is Reddit humor. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's true though. That's true. Do you think we'll hear about the HBO Max and Universal news soon? Yeah. Yeah, we should be hearing some updates sometime this month because remember, everything goes into full effect starting January 1st, 2026. Um, that's when they're gonna start doing some things. Not here in the states yet. They're gonna be doing some stuff. I think it's in Europe first. They're gonna be, I guess, helping them out, whatever it is that they're doing out there. Because that's what I'm telling y'all. There's a lot of patterns. Remember, I know that there's people still saying that they don't have HBO Max in Europe, and this I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. This is how I feel. What if, what if Comcast does buy, HBO Max, and they do end up restoring the Snyderverse on HBO Max, and then the people out there and everybody that's out there watching in Europe, in the UK, or wherever those areas are, they finally get HBO Max and they can watch all this good content. Yo, you imagine that? Yo, that'll be a huge, huge win for all of us. Like straight up, that would be nuts. That would be nuts, honestly. John Campion is having a meltdown. Yeah, as usual. Do you think Netflix is offering cash offer? Do you think it's gonna be a tax as hard? That's what I was thinking. It's kind of suspicious that all three companies want to make a cash offer. Yeah, that sounds like they're trying to hide something. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I really don't know. Baroque, what Baroque Beats? I'm sorry if I said that wrong, brother. But I think I be seeing you. You're the one with the bat suit, right? That be on X and stuff. Love your work if that's what it is. Bro, I don't understand. Is YWB gives Gunn multiple free passes and free reigns of everything, but for Zach, if his movies didn't do a billion, he was a failure. Yep, because that's Hollywood. That's how showbiz is. That's how all these snakes are in this industry. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. That's showbiz. That's what they don't like. Remember, if you push an agenda in Hollywood, whatever it is, they love you. If you promote the alphabet, they love you even more. When you're against it, oh, you're the enemy. I'll leave it at that. I won't even get into details. That tells you everything. I literally spoke to you on code. If you caught what I said, then you know. But if you don't, then you clearly don't understand. But yeah, that's what it is. If you push an agenda, they love you for it. If you don't, they don't want to work with you in this business. Guns tweets fanboys can accept the fact that he'll never touch Batman. Yeah, yeah. Notice how now James Gunn's talking about that he wants to do Batman with the blue and gray. That's why I put up that random poll today, and I tagged him. I literally tagged James Gunn on it, along with DC and stuff, just because. I mean, just because, just so why not? Why not? I'm sure he's seen this channel from time to time. He's probably watching right here with a fake account. That'd be hilarious. That would be straight up seriously funny, 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 funny. Um, James Gunn's making a Justice Gang movie. Something that nobody asked about. We don't need to make another Justice League. We got the perfect cast of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg. We got the best there, Justice League. Why fix what's not broken? No, we need two and three. We left off with one. It was building up to two and three. You rather have Supergirl movie starring Melissa from CW over Millie? Yeah, I agree with you that I really do. John Campion has not been talking about the Snyder movement. Yeah, he's not because he's in his feelings probably. His chill emotions won't allow him to. That's what happens, honestly. That's where we are right now. So I am not surprised. I am not surprised. Um, yeah. Let me see. Rumor is that they want to do Snyderverse on HBO Max and Guns crap on theaters. Well, if they want to do that, that's fine. But whatever they put on the theaters, it's not gonna make them money. So, yeah, that's exactly what it is. All right. So let's see. Except Melissa will never make a James Gunn movie. She knows better. He'll turn on her into a female peacemaker. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. Um, yeah, there's a like I'm not even gonna acknowledge it. I see your comment, but there's so many gun glazers out there, so we don't worry about them. We don't even acknowledge them. Honestly, we just focus on what we have to do and keep on doing what we have to put out. For our fight when it comes to everything with DC, with what we want with real quality, not with what the studio thinks that we want. So we just keep pushing what we want, and the fight doesn't stop. And very soon, we're going to get Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. We're gonna get Ben Affleck's the Batman movie. We will see it. You'll see the Dark Knight Returns. We'll be seeing it soon. And like I'm telling y'all, my friends, it's not a coincidence that you have HBO Max, you have Comcast, you have IMAX, you have Zack Snyder, and like it's just so many things. There's too many things that are happening. This is not coincidence. Completely. There's so many things that are right now happening, and they're gonna keep on developing as we keep moving forward with this sale. From here to December 31st, I know it's literally New Year's, but we're gonna hear an update. Like I told y'all, we're gonna hear a big update, whatever it is, whether it sells or if it doesn't. Because at the rate we are right now, WB WB needs money, and they're trying to sell off whatever they can, however they can. But I don't think they're gonna fully sell their big IPs, which is DC and Harry Potter and all those other IPs and stuff. I think they just right now want to, like, David Zaslav is, he's very like focused on trying to split up the company before he sells. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up doing that and he announces that before the end of the year and says, "Hey, look, we reviewed." This is how I think it's probably gonna happen. This is me speculating. He's probably gonna come on, with his either WB or some bullshit letter or something, and they're gonna do corporate talk. On behalf of WB, we would love to express our gratitude to everybody that's been, bidding and making offers. We take that as a generous offer, and we highly appreciate you, increasing your sweet deals, because that's what they like to do, like to always butter things up, corporate talk. And then the other gonna be like, but after careful consideration and reconsideration, we have come to the conclusion that unfortunately we have decided to move away and we're not going to sell. Doesn't that sound corporate as hell to y'all? That's what I think is going to happen. you know that's probably what's going to happen, and that's what I'm worried. If that does happen, yo, I'm telling y'all right now, we are we we are screwed. We are screwed, because I think that's what David Zaslav might pull in the end. That's what I think his goal is, because he's raising these stocks up. He in the sense of, not that he's doing it on his own. It's just how all of us are talking. Like, we're talking in this live stream or the channels or their content. You have media outlets. Everybody's talking about it. So all the attention is straight up going to that, and that's what it's sounding like. I'm like, yo, David Zaslav, you better not come out last minute and say you're not going to sell, or you're going to sell just part of the company. And then he keeps DC still and he continues with James Gunn, because that could happen also. He's just probably trying to branch off and trying to sell whatever doesn't make money to try to save them, in the sense of, well, if they're not willing to give me the numbers that I want, then I'm not going to sell. And like I told you a month ago, David Zaslav doesn't have to sell. It's if he wants to. but we know that he wants to. The question is, how is he going to sell it? Is he going to sell it full? Is he going to just part it out? Is he going to sell half of the company? Like, that's the part we do not know, honestly. So we're gonna have to see, what's gonna come from it. Like I said, who knows? Who knows what's gonna come from it and stuff like that. That kind of pissed me off. That's how corporate likes to talk, though. Corporate likes to play these games, and that's how they are. I've been around corporate, and I know how they like to say their things and word their things. So that's why, like I say, yeah, they always love to put that after serious consideration, and they always love to pull that one. It's like, yo, come on, man, like, just be straightforward. Yo, it's not working out. Yo, we don't want it. That's it. No, but they can't. They always got to butter something else. Um, yeah, that's what it is. Do you think Zack Snyder gets to finish the DCU verse, or do you think he will get to adapt Dark Knight Returns? Apparently, that's his dream, to adapt a cool movie to finish his genre. I think he's gonna get everything. I think he's coming back, and I can't remember what was his name on Rebel Moon, the main bad guy. Damn, I can't remember his name right now. But when he said that, he's like, I want everything. Like, he wants all. He wants it all. Like, dude was greedy, right? He wanted everything. Like, that's exactly how Zach is coming back. He wants everything in his DCU. Like, literally, in the sense of the Snyderverse. And I can't wait. I cannot wait, honestly. For him to actually get what we were supposed to get. Since the beginning. If you compare Superman 25 to the Transformers movies, it's not a fair fight. James Gunn cannot go up against Michael Bay. Nah, he can't. He can't. Michael Bay is quality. He's a director, and James Gunn is straight up a parody type of director. So, yeah, you can't put him on the same level. Yeah, yeah. Ben Affleck Batman would destroy James Gunn's Superman, big time, for sure, for sure. Corporates are full of shit. They make great politicians. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly how they are. That's exactly how they are. All the talk, but no actions in the end. James Gunn's the only one for Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much, he's definitely, he cannot compete with Zack Snyder and Michael Bay. Yeah, yeah, he's good at that. I give it to James Gunn when it comes to all those weird characters. He did it also with what was this movie? The Suicide Squad, when he put the big starfish in there. What was it? Starro, whatever he was. So that's James Gunn's type of movies and stuff like that. He's good at that. That I give it to him. He's good at all those weird characters and stuff. The characters that nobody asked about. That's who he's really he brings that type of movies and stuff. Restore Michael Bay, Superman 2 verse. Yeah, I would love to see. I would love to see what the storyboard was going to be on that. Imagine the hype going to see Justice League 2 in theaters. Yeah, look, talking about that. All right, you all saw, whoever saw, I put up that picture. Shout out to L Turner for that. He made that image. Of course, it's AI. I mean, who isn't using AI nowadays? But it just shows you all the people flocking, literally, in IMAX, to see Zack Snyder's Justice League. That should be used as motivation to help you keep going, in the sense of, that's what I want to see. I want to see that. I want to see these movies in the theaters. I want to see it, released on the big screen, and IMAX, just like it was intended to, would be the way, and especially with how IMAX is doing this poll randomly. Zack Snyder saying go rewatch it. We have to do that, honestly. And talking about rewatching, very soon I'm gonna probably try to see what's up. I'm gonna see what's up with my schedule. But if anything, I'm gonna try to see if I could do a watch party with y'all, so we could either watch Zack Snyder's Justice League or Batman versus Superman. Let me know which one y'all want to see. I mean, 4 hours is I know it's a little bit too much. Probably we could watch half and then the other half another day. Which one y'all want to see? If I do, I'll probably do a poll. But I'm gonna try to see if we could do one real soon, so we could do a watch party and stuff like that. So we could all together just tune in and watch it. From wherever you want, either HBO or if you have it on physical. We could just tune in and we could watch this project together and stuff like that. That would be pretty cool and stuff. So okay, Batman versus Superman. Okay, okay. Zack Snyder Justice League. All right, cool, cool. Any? All right, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, we'll do that and stuff like that. So like I said, I'm gonna look at my schedule this week, and if anything, it probably might be for the weekend. I'll let y'all know more or less which day it might be. I'm probably gonna try to aim for Saturday. I might try to see if probably Saturday. Um, so I guess we'll leave it from there and stuff like that. But yeah, with that being said, my friends, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I'm about to get going. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace out.